Today's video is how to connect to EC2 instance from Windows using PuTTy. I have a EC2 instance in private subnet. I'm going to use a Bastion host using the pirate IP address to connect to my instance in the private subnet. And also, I'm going to set up a NAT instance to give the EC2 instance in the private subnet internet access. So let's take a look at the Amazon's reference architect on WordPress website setup. So they have VPT, and then inside the virtual private network, they have two availability zones. And then each availability zone has one private subnet and private subnet. And then there's a Bastion host in private subnet, which we will connect through the internet gateway, connect to Bastion host, and then for Bastion host to jump to the WordPress instance in the private subnet, and then to log in to this instance. Also, in order to get some software upgrade or patch upgrade, WordPress instance in the private subnet need to have access to the internet that will be going through NAT gateway. And then in this reference architect, they are using NAT gateway. In my case, I'm going to use a NAT instance. So first, let's take a look how to connect to the Linux instance from Windows using PuTTy. So I'm going to reference to the tutorial from Amazon online document. And then first, they recommend to download the PuTTy from this download page. When we open it, when we are at the PuTTy's homepage, we can download it from here and choose the version for your computer. So in my case, I already download PuTTy. So I'm going to reference to the online tutorial from AWS. So after you download the software, we are going to need to convert the PEN key to PPK. So the PEN key is the key pair. Go from beginning. Set up a EC2 instance first. That will be, I said, PuTTy test. Free tier. Okay, here, create new key pair. So we need this new key pair to use in the PuTTy in order to make connection to the EC2 instance to log in. I'm going to name it PuTTy test2 create key pair. So it download here. And then I'm going to create a security group. Okay, I'm going to give it a name, public. So I have this rule. I'm going to launch instance. So I mentioned in my previous video, because I'm using the Amazon Linux 2 AMI. So for this AMI, they have the feature of EC2 Instant Connect. So I just need to connect. Then I'm able to connect to the instance already. But in some of the case, if you choose another AMI, these two might not be available. If you are not seeing this EC2 Instant Connect, then today we are going to use the SSH client. And we are going to use PuTTy to SSH connect to this instance. So let's see how are we going to do that. After we download the key pair, we need to convert it from PEN file to PPK. So let's open PuTTy, and I'm going to load. We need to select all files. We will be able to see the PNA file open. There will be notice. We just click on OK. And then we are going to save private key. Another warning, we are going to click yes. And then we are going to save the name of this file. This is PPK file, so we save it. Done. And then next, connect to your Linux instance. So there's instruction here. You can either use private DNS or IPv6. So I'm going to open PuTTy. From here, okay, you mentioned I'm going to use DNS instant username and then the private DNS name. So I will go inside the instance, copy this private DNS, go back, type EC2 user at DNS name, and then we are going to go to the connection SSH off, and we are going to browse. Select the key we just converted, open, then go back to session. We are going to save this section, and then next time when you want to connect again, you just need to click on this same session, then save you some time. So I'm going to name this session PuTTy as well. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to open it. There will be some alert as well. We just say accept. We are logging in to the instance already. So we can check this IP, private IP address, 172.31.29.59. So we see that that's the same IP. We are logging in to this instance already using the PuTTy. Then we can do some update as we did with the EC2 Instant Connect. Update. So the same. Okay, now we are connecting to the instance already. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a VPC and then also the internet gateway. In each availability zone, I'm going to set up one private subnet and also one private subnet. AWS console. I'm going to set up a VPC. Create a VPC. I'm going to name it WordPress. Of course, eventually, I want to set up a WordPress website based on the AWS reference architect. Then we are going to build this WordPress website based on this best practice. I'm going to set up a VPC and name it WordPress. And then the sidebar for the VPC, I'm going to use 16. I'm going to use the subnet mask 16. So that means the first two need to be the same. Okay. So I need to remember this one. Create VPC. We set up a custom VPC. Then I'm going to set up 4 subnet, 2 public and 2 private. For all those subnets, I'm going to put it in the WordPress VPC. And let me copy this sidebar first. First one, I'm going to create a private subnet. Availability zone will be 1A. And then the side block, I'm going to give it another subnet public 1B, and then 1B here. We give it 24. Next will be private. PuTTy 1A will be in the 1A as well. Going to keep this. And another private subnet 1B. Okay, let's take a look. Make sure it's 1A. Oh, yeah. 1A and then 1B. 1A is private, and then 1B create subnet. So we are creating 4 subnet based on the reference architect. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm combining those two. It's not necessary to have one extra, I think. Okay. And we need to auto assign private RP. I need to give the public P. This one 1A action. Subnet setting or to save. And also public 1B. Enable auto assign public address. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a route table. 2 route table. One is public route table. I'm going to in the WordPress VPC as well, create route table. And also one more. Private route table. Private RT. And also in the WordPress VPC as well. And I need to associate this private route table to private subnet. Private subnet. And then there's 2. And let's do the same for the public route table. Public. Okay, good. Then we see that in the reference architecture, there's an internet gateway, and then we need to add an internet gateway as well. I'm going to name this WordPress Internet Gateway and create Internet Gateway. I'm going to attach to this WordPress VPC. And for the VPC, I'm going to add it DNS host name as well, enable it, save change. Okay, let's take a look. Subnet and private, public. Do they have? Okay, yes, they have. And then let's take a look at the private subnet. Okay, no. Route table. The public route table will have the public route table will be associated with public subnet, and also private route table will be associated with private subnet. Okay, good. For the public route table, I'm going to add one more route. To the internet from Internet Gateway, the WordPress Internet Gateway. See change. Okay, now it's good. Next, we are going to set up an EC2 instance in the private subnet. That will be the WordPress. We have one instance there already. Oh, this is the PuTTy. It's not in the private. Okay, I'm going to remove it because it is in 1D. If it's in 1A or 1B, I might be able to change to Bastion host, but it's in 1D. I want to follow exactly what is in the reference architect. So one availability zone A and then one availability zone B. I'm going to remove this one and we are going to do a new one. Let's terminate. Okay, let's create an instance. This one will be private. WordPress instance in the private subnet. Use this one. And instance T2 Michael. I keep here, I'm going to use the same PuTTy test. Okay, we already have, oh no. It's, I need to put it in the WordPress VPC. And also, okay, it's already private, 1A. Private IP, disable, okay, good. I'm going to create a security group. I'm going to name it private SG. So that means a private security group. So for this security group, I think I'll add one more. Maybe it's HTTP traffic internally. Good. So this one will be the private instance in private subnet. No public IP. Okay, launch instance. It will be this one. Next, we are going to set up the Bastion host. So go to the instance and then create another one. I'm going to name it Bastion host. And minus 2, instance type T2 Michael as well. I'm going to use the same PuTTy test and edit the networking WordPress VPC. This one will be in the public 1A. So enable public IP. Security group, I'm going to use, I don't have a public. Oh, yes, right. Because that, yeah, okay. Because the private security group is in another VPC. I'm going to create a new security group. I'm going to name this public SG. And then there will be HTTPS and also HTTP. That will be the traffic, internet traffic. So all of them. HTTP, okay, good. Public security group, public, okay. So that will be the Bastion host. Okay, let's refresh. I'm going to log in to Bastion host, and then from the Bastion host, we are going to log into this private instance. So in this case, we are going to use some approach agent forwarding. What we are going to do is we need to open Pagen. You can find it here in the PuTTy. After you install PuTTy, you can find PuTTy Jam and then PuTTy, and then the one I'm using now is Pagan. I just put a shortcut on my taskbar, so much convenient to open. Double click right there. And then we are going to add a key. So the key will be the one we just converted into a PuTTy PPK. Open. Now it's good. And then close. Go to the PuTTy again. Oh yeah, because because we terminated the PuTTy test instance, so the connection not lost. Okay, let's do it again, the PuTTy. In this case, I'm going to go to SSH off again, and then click on here, allow agent forwarding. Then go back. Here, the same EC2 user. And then we are going to log in to Bastion host. I'm going to copy this public DNS. Add. Paste. So that's it. Open. Here again, we accept it. And then we log into the Bastion host. So let's take a look. We see the pirate IP address is 10.0.1.40.40. And then what is it here? Exactly the same. So let's see, we are going to log in the private instance from this Bastion host. So what we are going to do is we are going to check what's the IP address for this private instance. So we are going to use this IP address and time SSH EC2 user at enter. And then you ask you, are you sure you want to continue? I say yes. Then we log in to the private instance already. So this is the IP address, the same. Then this private instance in the private subnet do not have internet access to the outside traffic. So we can ping Google, it never respond. There's no connection to the internet. What we are going to do next is to create NAT instance to give the private instance internet access. So I'm going to create another instance. This one will be NAT instance. There will be a special AMI for the NAT instance. It will be in the community AMI search MAT community. So I'm going to choose the first one. T2 micro key pair. I'm going to use the same PuTTy test. Networking, WordPress VPC, and will be in the public Subnet. Enable security group. I'm going to give it its own security group. SG, the same as HTTP, and then HTTPS. Everywhere. Okay, launch. Go to all instance. Now the NAT instance has been created already. We are going to change the source and destination check and go to the networking, change source destination check, and then stop the checking and then save. Then we are going to go to we are going to edit the route for the private route table to add the NAT instance, and then save change. Then we go back to PuTTy, forward, agent, EC2, user, at. DNS, paste, open. And then SSH, EC2, user, USER, user at. Then go to the private, this IP address, and then paste. And then now in the private instance, let's Google. Google. Doesn't work. Okay. Let's go to the security group. Right there. Take a look at the NAT instance. I'm going to edit all traffic to the NAT instance security group. Say rule. Go back here. Now we have the internet connection for the private instance in the private subnet. That's how we SSH connect to the instance in private subnet using PuTTy, and also using NAT instance to allow the private instance to have internet access to get software update